Hey guys, today we're making sourdough pizza, but don't worry if you don't have a sourdough starter because I'm gonna give you another recipe that is just as delicious. So as always, join me and let's make this. All right, let's make our pizza dough. Go ahead and take 450 grams of strong bread flour. I use King Arthur for this. 1 gram of dried yeast, and then I have 100 grams of sourdough starter that I added to 250 milliliters of water. Then we're just gonna blend that up. As I said before, don't worry if you don't have this. I'm gonna put another recipe in the description that doesn't have the sourdough starter in it, so just follow that one. So after we go ahead and blend this up, then we're going to just add this slowly. All right, with our mixer on about medium-low speed, we're just going to slowly incorporate our water. Like I said before, if you don't have the starter, don't worry. Make sure you're adding the water slowly, and this should take about 5 minutes. All right, guys, so we got our dough mixing. I just like to mix this for about 5 minutes just to make sure everything's nice and incorporated. Start developing some of that gluten. Just a minute, we're gonna shut it off. We're gonna make little golf ball sized pieces of dough, put it in a separate bowl. We're gonna let it sit out at room temp for about an hour, and then we're gonna pop that in the fridge and let it ferment for at least 12 to 24 hours. You don't want to go more than 24 hours. Now I wanted to show you how to just make a very simple San Marzano tomato sauce that we're going to use for our pizza tomorrow. Make sure that you get very good quality San Marzano. If you can't find San Marzano, which I think you can get them anywhere now, depending on what city you're living in and what state. I'm out here in California, so any of your local, more artisan grocery stores should have some really high-end stuff imported from Italy, preferably DOP. So those are protected designation of origin, meaning they're actually grown and packed in Campania, Italy. They're usually packed on site, usually in Italy, and then shipped all over the world so that you know you're getting very good, high-quality tomatoes. So when you find some good quality San Marzanos and it doesn't say DOP, that's fine if you want to use them, but I'm just telling you, if you get the true San Marzanos that say DOP, just know that those are the best quality and those are looked at under the highest restrictions. You spent this time making this dough, right? You want to make sure that you're using the highest quality products that you can. But if you can't get those, I totally understand, and it's still going to be delicious. I urge you to really source out some ingredients. What we're going to do now is I'm just going to show you a very simple tomato sauce, just a few simple ingredients, some garlic cloves, some olive oil, a little bit of oregano, and some San Marzano tomatoes, and a little bit of Calabrian chili. That's it. Take 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil and 10 to 20 cloves of garlic. Next, we'll add a 1/4 cup of fresh oregano. Let that kind of fry up in there. It'll splatter up on you. That's totally fine. Just be careful. Just about a teaspoon of Calabrian chilies. I don't go too spicy on there. My wife will kill me. All right, then lastly, in with our San Marzanos. Let this go ahead and cook down for about 35 to 45 minutes. You really want to cook out the acidity of your tomatoes. Definitely give it a taste. And at the very end, we're just going to hit it with some salt and pepper. If you need to, you can add a little bit of honey or sugar to really balance out that acidity if you haven't cooked it out all the way. Some tomatoes need that, but hopefully yours won't. So tomorrow we'll come back and I'll show you how to make a delicious pizza. Okay guys, welcome back. It's the next day. We let our dough bulk ferment overnight in the fridge. You want to let it go for at least 12 to 24 hours. I wouldn't go beyond that. And then now we're just going to break this up into large chunks, put it in our mixer, and then we're going to add our water very slowly. We're also going to add 10 grams of salt and then mix it on medium speed for at least 10 minutes to really develop that gluten. All right, guys, while our dough's mixing, I did want to talk to you guys about the hydration level of the dough. This is actually going to be a 70 to 72% hydration level of your dough, meaning the water content is going to be that percentage of the total mass. What's good about this is if it's great for home ovens because you want a little bit more moisture content. You're going to bake these in your oven for at least, I would say 6 to 10 minutes, depending on how crispy you like your dough. The nice stretch that we get right there. See that? That's exactly what you want to see. That means that gluten developed nicely. All right, so we're at 885 grams. I know this gives us about 4 dough balls. So I just divided by 4, and then we're at 221 grams. If you want to do ounces, that's about 13 ounces per dough ball. I just like to lay this out on our countertop. Just makes it a little bit easier to work with. Go ahead and set your bowl back on your gram scale, and then I like to just cover this with a little bit of olive oil. I like to use these deli cups right here. I just find that, you know, one, it stores better in the fridge. You don't have to use these. They have dough proofing boxes that work really nice as well if you plan on cooking it that day. If you plan on keeping them in the fridge, plan on getting something like this that's a little bit higher up so it has room to really do a little bit more of the proofing. Because of the slow rise that we did with this will last in your fridge for probably 3 to 4 days. After that, you're gonna see that the yeast is gonna start to die on you. If you were like me and added your sourdough starter, that'll probably give you an extra 1 or 2 days. So you're looking at probably 4 or 5 days total to have this dough in your fridge, slow rising. So just keep that in mind. So there we have our dough balls. So we'll just place them in here. We'll cover them up, and that's pretty much it. Let them rise. All right, so we have our dough here. Now, what we wanna do is just let this, if you wanna eat this today, then just go ahead and let this sit out for at least 4 hours in a warm, dark place, and that'll really just kind of get that rise going, which I'm gonna do for this video so I can actually make some today for you guys. And then I'll put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes just to kind of firm up a little bit. It just makes it a little bit easier to handle. Like I said, this will hold in your fridge for at least 3 to 4 days without the sourdough starter. With the sourdough starter, if you decide to go that route, you're looking at probably 4 or 5 days tops. If you want to go ahead and freeze these, if you're not making 4 pizzas that day, I totally understand. If you are, good for you, man. That's awesome. What you can do is put these in a bag, in a Ziploc bag, coat them with a little bit of olive oil, and then just pop them in the freezer. This is such an amazing dough, guys. Trust me, it took a while to really develop the right dough that I really have been happy with and what I've been searching for in a pizza, because I hate when I get that soggy pizza and just, it's absolutely disgusting. Let your doughs ferment for 4 to 6 hours before baking. All right, now we need to make our 50-50 flour. You want equal parts 1-to-1 of semolina flour and your bread flour. We're gonna use this to roll out our pizza doughs. So we're almost gonna bake our pizza off. I just wanted to show you a couple of condiments that you can put on top. These are totally optional. I love to have a little extra flavor on top of my pizza. I don't know about you, but maybe you're a little bit more simple, and that's totally fine. I like a little herb oil at the very end. I like to also do a little bit of hot honey, which is just what it is. It's hot sauce and honey, very simple. We're gonna put a little Calabrian chili in there, a little hot sauce, your favorite hot sauce, and then some local honey. And then we're also gonna do an herb oil with some garlic confit oil or roasted garlic oil, a little bit of that roasted garlic, some of that oil, and then some oregano. Very simple, very easy to do. This will last covered in your fridge for up to a week. All right, so the last part of this, let's talk about our meat. You can use whatever you want, totally optional. I have sopressata, some chorizo, and then some prosciutto. Feel free to experiment with whatever you like. All right, and then once we have our mise en place set, ready to go for our pizza, we can bake. I have some fresh basil leaves, our 50-50 flour, some shredded mozzarella, some bocconcini, fresh mozzarella, some fresh Parmesan, our beautiful San Marzano sauce, and our meats. All right, if you guys remember, I told you that this is a dough that just needs a lot of love. So we'll put some flour down, right down onto that flour. A little more flour on top. And then we just want to lightly press on the inside, forming outwards. Take your time with this, guys. You know, you're not trying to rush this. You spend all that time making that beautiful dough. So you want to make sure that you're really treating this with some respect and just lightly just kind of stretching it, letting the gravity just kind of do its thing, letting the dough just naturally fall. You're not really trying to stretch it out too much, just lightly with your fingers. You just see how I'm just kind of slowly just going away from each other. That's exactly what you're trying to do. So you're just trying to form that crust. Like I said before, guys, this isn't that toss it up. If you want to see some flair and see me toss a dough in the air, this isn't that kind of video. This is definitely more of an artisan dough. So you want to treat it as such. Otherwise, it'll split on you. Pizza's like sex. Even if it's bad, it's still pretty good. Light dusting on our pizza peel. All right, we want to take a ladle of our sauce. Our beautiful San Marzano sauce we made yesterday. Just start in the middle and then just work your way around the outside. Say basil or oregano. You want to put these on underneath if you are going to cook it. If you're going to put this on after, then you can just go ahead and throw it on the very top, obviously. But if you're going to cook herbs, you want to make sure that you're putting them on under the cheese and under the rest of your ingredients. Otherwise, they're just going to burn and it's going to be pointless. And then I have some of this beautiful fresh bocconcini mozzarella. I also have some shredded mozz here. So we'll just go ahead and finish this. It kind of fills in. You don't have to use the shredded mozz. I just like a little bit more cheese on my pizza. I like to put the meats on at the very end and just kind of tear them and just rip them up. That way you don't have big old chunks. This is just the way I like to do pizza, guys. Like I said, it's free for all, whatever you want to do. And these are obviously, I like to do the meat on the very top because I really like when it gives it that nice crust and gets all crisp. Then one thing you want to do is make sure it slides on your board. You want to make sure that you slide that in on top of your stone, because if not, you're just gonna have it just fall right off. All right, and in with our pizza, right on that stone.
Go ahead and top this off with a little bit more of that fresh basil. All right, and then finish our pizza off with that beautiful herb oil, our hot honey, and manja manja.
That's it, guys. As always, thanks again for joining me. If you can, drop me a comment and a like. It really helps the algorithm. If you're new here, I hope it earned your subscription. And I can't wait for you guys to join me again next week. And until then, get out there and make some pizza with your family and your friends and have a blessed week. Take care.